Hi guys, this is College Algebra, Northern Oklahoma College Math 1513, Chapter 2, Section 3. We're going to find the equation of a line if I give you the slope and a point on the line. Okay, I want you to start by looking at this graph here. And if I was going to write the equation of this, remember y equals mx plus b. If I was going to write the equation of this, my y-intercept would be 2. And my slope would go up 1 and over 3. So my slope would be 1/3. So my equation of this line would be y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Now they're not going to make it that easy on you. They're going to make it a little more challenging. So they're not going to tell you the y-intercept. They're not going to give you the y-intercept, but they are going to give you another point on the line. Now, let's try a real easy one here. Let's pick this point out here, 6, 4. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps to the right and 4 steps up. So the address of that point, the coordinates of that point are 6, 4. So what they're going to give you instead of the slope and the y-intercept is they're going to give you the slope and a point on the line. So for example, the slope of this line would be 1/3, and the point on the line that it goes through would be 6, 4. So this is the information they're going to give you. They're going to say, write the equation of this line. If I tell you the slope's 1/3 and it goes through the point 6, 4, write the equation. Well, how do you start? You always start with y equals mx plus b. And let's put in what information we know. We know the slope is 1/3. So far we have y equals 1/3 x excuse me, plus b. What else do I need? I need the b to write the equation. Remember, there's only two things you need to write an equation. You need the slope and the y-intercept. We have the slope. We got to go find the y-intercept so we can write the equation. Now, a trick to do this is just to borrow an x and a y for a second. Here's a good x and y right here. This 6 and 4 that the line goes through, we're just going to borrow that x and y for a second. So take out the y, put in the 4, equals 1/3. Remember to use parentheses when you're taking out an x and putting in a number. 1/3 times 6 plus b, and the rest is just algebra. Let's do the algebra now. 4 equals 2 plus b, so b is 2. Now we're not done. Now we have to write the equation. We found or we were given our x. We calculated our b. Now let's just write the equation. So y equals, our slope was given to us, and we figured out what our b was, and there's our equation. So that's how to get the equation if you're given the slope and a point on the line. You just have to calculate your b first, and then write your equation. Alright, so here's our example. Our line goes through -5, -1, and has a slope of -3. Well, I always start with slope-intercept form. Now remember, what we're looking for is the m and the b. We're given the slope, we're given the m, so I'm going to take out the m and put in -3, bring everything else down, and here's what we got so far. Now we need the b before we can write the equation, so let's borrow an x and a y just for a second. Here's a good x and here's a good y to borrow. That's a point that the line goes through. So take out the y and put in my -1. There's my -3 slope. I'm going to use parentheses around the x. Take out the x and put in -5. Remember, always use parentheses, especially when there's negatives involved, because that'll keep your calculations correct. And now let's just do the math. That's positive 15, because -3 times -5 is positive 15. We minus 15 from both sides, and I get -16 is my b. And now I can write my equation. Now that I was given my slope and I figured out what my b is, I can just write my equation. So here we go. Y equals, slope was given, that's -3, then my x, and plus b, but my b is actually negative, so I'm going to write -16. -3x minus 16.